What is your general experience when you do business with a Black-owned business?
They're usually good experience. Sometimes it may be bad depending on the day and the person. But overall, I feel like usually whoever I'm dealing with, they're really attentive to me and what I need, and conversation-wise is always great, of course. But overall, I haven't had an extremely bad experience. They're usually good, and especially when I'm looking for makeup, dealing with a Black person is always great because they understand the struggle. So that's always good for me.
My experience with Black-owned businesses has been not always. I've noticed that they have not always been run efficiently, and it seems like it's not organized, and the prices are slightly higher.
Really?
Yeah, that has been my experience with Black-owned businesses.
So what is your general experience when you do business with a Black-owned business? Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Usually you think it would be good because you think they had the best interest in what you have, you know what I'm saying? So if you're trying to buy something, they may look out, you know what I'm saying, instead of you going to the white man for something, like help your own kind out. But at the same time, they be trying to get over. You know what I'm saying? Like on your own people, like why you trying to get over on us? That's why we got all these, not really many moms and pop shops. We got a whole bunch of Chinese stores and all that just lingering around here.
Right.
Trying to get over each other. We don't want to put money in our own pocket, so we'd rather go spend our money with somebody else.
What I've been dealing with lately is they start out good, and then they fall off.
Sometimes the case is when you feel like the exchange isn't fair.
Right.
That you're being overcharged and you're getting less work done that's needed. All you could do is do some research and go by recommendation.
That research is important.
And that's what you will have to look for.
What is your general experience when you do business with a Black-owned business?
Black-owned business is generally friendly, charismatic. They're very selective in their staff as far as like the personality and characteristics that I encounter. For the most part, I see it like they're striving as far as their appearance and the appeal in their businesses. What I do notice in some of the older Black-owned businesses, they don't strive for as much. That's mostly that I see in modern Black-owned businesses, which I feel like the older people should probably jump on board with appearance, because I mean that's your first impression until you actually consume whatever product they're selling. But as far as like my encounters with Black-owned business owners, they're generally reluctant to communicate with younger entrepreneurs. I haven't really seen them be as embracing as they probably should be.
Black-owned business. What is my experience?
What is your general experience when you do business with a Black-owned business?
The general experience is someone wants to get the hookup, or they want to cut a corner. I'm sorry to say. When I do business with a Black-owned business.
Now you talking about as a business they want to hook up, or they coming to you for business?
They coming for me to business. They want to automatically be put on without any reference checks or anything, just because they're a Black-owned business.
Generally, when you do business with a Black-owned business, how is the experience?
It depends on the type of business. Like if it's health and beauty, it's usually messy. But if it's
messy,
yeah, it's
health
messy.
And beauty. What?
Yeah, because if you're dealing I have a lot of friends that buy hair from different Black-owned hair vendors, and it's always something with the money. But if you do something like professionally wise, like out here in corporate America, it usually goes smooth.
So my experience, with black-owned businesses. I haven't had a lot of experience with black-owned business, to be honest with you, but the experiences that I've had have been pretty solid so far. So I'll give you one business, for example. So there's this person I know, her name is Kara, and she owns a business called I Heart Creations, which is a shirt company. And every time that I've needed a shirt, or every time that I needed a design for a coffee mug or a glass, she always comes through. She'll tell me exactly the turnaround. She'll tell me exactly how much I have to pay. I'll pay when I get the shirt or when I get that design. And so that's just one of the examples of the black-owned businesses that I've encountered. So overall, my experience has been pretty solid so far.
It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of, giving, sometimes more than receiving. But in the end of the day, it all pays off when you're dealing with black business. Black business means you care about your customer, you care about their service, you care about their family. It's just beyond, you build a relationship in black business with your black patriots. They come to your business.
Does your experience prevent you from doing more business with a black-owned business?
No, not in my case, no. I still give the brothers $1 if I feel like, business is gonna be handled like it should be. It doesn't deter me from trying to support the brothers,
Right. Does it make you not want to do business with a black business anymore?
No, that makes me want to do business with them more so they learn from their mistakes.
With those experiences, does that prevent you from doing business?
No, it does not.
Nope.
No, it does not.
I like to hear that.
And I'm gonna tell you why it does not. Because I am a black business owner myself.
Right.
And so I think we should at least give people an opportunity to provide their business or services or whatever they do.
Right.
And then you judge from there. But at least give black-owned businesses an opportunity to render you some service.
Does a negative experience with a black-owned business prevent you from doing future business with any other black-owned businesses?
No, not necessarily. It doesn't even prevent me from continuing business with that person, who I have that negative experience with. One experience, like one bad apple, shouldn't spoil the whole bunch. So, as long as we can come to some conclusion, it should be, as a business owner, you should be willing to, to take in those negative experiences and build upon.
And does that prevent you from doing business with future black-owned businesses?
It does not, but it's kind of disheartening. Because it's kind of disheartening. It doesn't prevent me from doing business with them, but it's kind of disheartening, and it makes me feel some type of way. Because it makes me feel like you got some type of alternative motive to coming to me because you wouldn't come to anybody else like that.
Right.
Because they get comfortable. That's one thing we should never do.
Get comfortable. Gotcha. I appreciate that. Last question, do those negative experiences prevent you from doing business with a black-owned business in the future?
No, because I always check the reviews and I'll give them a chance. And if it doesn't work, then I just move on.
Does a negative experience with a black-owned business prevent you from doing future business with any other black-owned businesses?
As a graphic designer, freelance graphic designer, in the beginning it kind of did, because clients that I work with, the relationship is good in the beginning, and then once you do something, then it kind of falls back a little bit, especially when it comes to dealing with money is a big thing, which I try to be understandable with them. But that was always a negative thing, but eventually over time, it just really depends on who you're dealing with.
Having to be the one to look at all the footage, compile it, edit it, and look at all the interviews, even interviews we didn't have on the video. I mean, it's definitely an experience. It's a humbling experience. I think, I didn't necessarily hear anything new that I hadn't heard before. Even conversations I've probably taken part in myself. I think, again, it's just different, like actually being able to talk to strangers about some of the same things that you've discussed before, and then to recognize that, it is at the very least that normal, out there as far as that experience. So you know, being able to talk to them as both a consumer and as a black businessman, as a black business owner, again, it was very interesting. And I have two perspectives on it. I mean, really, on the one hand, I definitely, you know, I think we're gonna be our own worst critic, our own harshest critic. Whereas on the other hand, I mean, I know that there are improvements that we need to make within the black business community. I know that, you know, I myself, you know, I've fallen short, you know, more times than what I wanted to, you know, in the past. You know, every business dealing that I've had or business opportunity that I've had, that hadn't always turned out the best. You know, sometimes I didn't perform the best and I didn't do what was necessary to get the job done, you know, whether it be the actual product or the time it took, whatever the case may be, you know, and those things fell directly on me. And there's other times where, you know, maybe even things were outside of my control, but the outcome still wasn't what the customer wanted, you know, so, you know, there's still a negative aspect, you know, to that experience. And, you know, that's unfortunate for me as well, to me as well. I don't like that, and I want to improve on that. So, you know, I definitely know that there's areas where we can get better, but, you know, again, like I said, I do know that we're gonna be our own toughest critic too. We're gonna be our own harshest critic. You know, like one of the dudes said in the video, I mean, we determine what's cool in fashion and music and overall culture, just everything, period, man. Black women, some of the hardest working women out there, they like magic, you know what I'm saying? And black men right there with them, you know what I'm saying? We grinding out as well. And I think when we do business with each other, black women, black men, you know, whatever, we expect the best from each other. We expect perfection from each other. I know I do. I expect perfection from myself. I expect to also get that when I do business with someone else of color, black man, black woman, don't matter. You know, just because I know what we're capable of. And I think we all know what each other are capable of, you know, so we, you know, it's easy for us to expect that and to, you know, again, be upset when it doesn't turn out that way. So sometimes in this business, you know, in this business race, man, we're not even at the starting line. We a couple miles behind the starting line. And that's a lot of us, you know, just dealing with the normal, you know, everyday trials and tribulations of African American life. So it's hard, you know, we starting with limited resources and we grinding, working 2-3 jobs while you're doing your side hustle or got your side hustle, your main job, stuff like that. And it is what it is. And that's not an excuse because, you know, again, a lot of times where business falls short may not have anything to do with all of that. You know, so I definitely don't want that to sound like an excuse, but it is something that needs to be continuously discussed, and I'm not gonna let it go unheard. So, I mean, it is what it is, but we definitely got to make improvements when it comes to the black-owned business community. You know, I think as I look at it, man, and you know, I've had a lot of these conversations, man. When it comes to the actual craft of the business, I don't think there's that many issues. You know, if you got a brother out there that know how to cook and he go open up a restaurant, I guarantee you that food gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna have no problems with that. A lot of times, you know, again, where we fall short is the operations of the craft in some way, whether it be, you know, general operations, customer service, invoicing, whatever the case may be. And, you know, those are the areas, as long as we can recognize those things within ourselves, you know, we can get the type of support that we need, you know, to you know, improve those things. So, but that's what Black Dollar is about, man. I mean, it's you know, more than just consumers to find black-owned businesses. It's also for black-owned business owners to find other black-owned businesses that they need to do business with, whether it be through networking or partnering. And when you find that, you know, y'all link up and y'all make it happen, and you pay each other an adequate rate for the services or the time that you are receiving. You know, you make sure that you do that, because once we're all doing that with each other, you know, that's how every black-owned business grows, you know, so that's definitely what we should be doing, you know, but like I say, the video interesting, definitely, you know, some work to be done. I've had negative experiences with all types of businesses, not just black-owned businesses, so, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and, you know, let us fall on the sword on that all by ourselves, but again, I can recognize the fact that, you know, there are improvements to be made, you know, so, let's get it.